Next, we'll be hearing from Dr. Christine Dorley from the Tennessee program. I just noticed Chris started working in newborn screening in 2004 and as a in a temporary fashion, and then moved to 2007. That's a long time, and goes back to the time when I first got started. So that's interesting.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Hunter's Hope, for inviting me to share our experience today. Can we go to the next slide, please? So our history of screening for lysosomal storage disorders, particularly Krabbe disease, stems back to the Mabry-Kate-Webb Act. Mabry-Kate was a baby that died of Krabbe disease in 2015. And so because it became legislatively mandated to screen, we started screening July 1 of 2017. Next slide. So we screened by flow injection analysis, or tandem mass spectrometry. And our cutoff is basically 10% of the daily median. Anything that flags below that gets sent for cyclosine testing. We use PerkinElmer Laboratories to do our second tier screen for us, as well as 30 kb and sequencing of the GALC gene. And their cutoffs are less than 1.5 nanomoles per liter. So anything that is above that value goes for the 30 kb and sequencing. Next slide, please. So some statistics on where we are as far as screening. Since July 1 all the way up through June 30th of this year, we have screened over 432,689 infants. 55 presumed positives have been reported for Krabbe, and we have had 0 confirmed infantile cases. We've had 2 late onset cases identified, and I put possible because as far as I know, these kiddos have not become symptomatic just yet, but they were identified with late onset alleles. We picked up 29 pseudodeficiency, and I think that that's something that can't really necessarily be helped with screening, but with the new algorithm for only sequencing those that are above 1.5 seems to have brought this number down. We should have had more, but because of adopting that, we haven't picked up too many more. False positives, and this number also includes carriers that we have identified. We have found 22, and then we have 2 that are still floating out there that we're waiting for a final report from our specialists as to what they're categorized as. Next slide, please. So our reporting algorithm for Krabbe disease, when we do have a positive enzyme, we report that to our follow-up group, and they in turn contact our genetics center as well as the PCP to facilitate specimen recollection and to let the PCP know that we have sent the specimen off for supplemental testing. Not to worry just yet until we have final results, and at that time the genetics center is going to discuss what those results are with the PCP and also discuss that with the parents. And then there's a parent letter that's sent with the link to the National Library of Medicine that explains even more so what Krabbe disease really means. Next slide, please. So for ALD screening, we started August 30th of that's a typo, April 30th of 2018, I'm sorry. And so far we have screened about 359,000 infants, 62 presumed positives. And we have found 16 kiddos that have the homozygous pathogenic or likely pathogenic variants, and then 41 false positives, of which include 6 female carriers, and then 3 that are of other disorders, mainly Zellweger's. And then we have 5 that are pending final diagnosis. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine.